Hello and welcome to Tiva Talk. Today is the second interview that I'm carrying out, and I think today is a more nerve-wracking guest because I'm delighted to have my daughter Alicia, and she's the firstborn of the crew. And I just want to ask her a series of questions and have a little chat with her, and hopefully it won't be too formal, but I welcome you, Alicia, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you. As I always say, Tiva Talk is a channel that represents people like you who either are making it or trying to go somewhere in life. So it's actually a privilege and an honor to have you on board. Thank you for allowing me to have this interview with you. So how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
How's your day been?
Good.
Good. So I've got only one rule on Tiva Talk, and this is you don't get to say I don't know, because that's the trend for young people. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. Who is Alicia? Just give us a little tester of who you are, and just try and explain it as much as you can.
I don't know.
Well, that's yeah.
I'm Alicia.
Yeah, you're Alicia, but okay, I'll give you a bit of a hand here. Okay, where did you come from, and what have you done in life, and to get to this point?
Come from Zimbabwe. And what do you mean by to get to this point?
Yeah, to this point, because I think you, from when when you came back into the country, yes, you come from Zimbabwe, yes, but that's not the entire story. But anyway, we'll leave that for another day. But when you get back here, what I want to drive at is I want to bring people to an understanding of where you have come from and where you are now and where you're going in the future. So when I say who is Alicia, how would you define yourself? If somebody were to ask you a question to say, can you tell me in a few words what you're about? So basically that's what I'm asking. Who is Alicia?
Okay. I'm Alicia. I'm Zimbabwean. I'm a hairdresser.
Okay, it's good to know. So in terms of being Zimbabwean, I know you're Zimbabwean, but you're also British, aren't you? So where do you relate more to, the British side or the Zimbabwean side? Or you want to combine those two? Zimbabwean. Okay, we'll just go back to the Zimbabwean experience.
Which father?
So you're still in the process of telling me about the transition from Zimbabwe to the UK. As a young person, I think it's very important to talk about transitions. How does how did it make you feel when you had to come to the UK and come into a new type of society that obviously you haven't grown up in, new rules? Can you talk me through that transition?
I didn't really know what to expect. It was just had to adjust to a lot of different things, like the culture, the system, like school, like having access to other things that we didn't have in Zimbabwe, like water, like in taps.
Like the basic stuff.
Mm.
Okay. So now when you carry forward that understanding of the lack in terms of resources, in terms of water, as you say, how privileged do you think young people who grow up in this type of environment are?
I don't know if I would say it's a privilege, because that's kind of like something that everyone needs. So, but yeah, I guess they are a little bit privileged, but it shouldn't be that way, really.
Okay. No, thank you for that explanation. So, okay, fast forwarding, you are now in, integrating into a school. Which school did you actually go to?
I went to what's it called?
No, it's the one in Wingate.
No, it was one in Middlesbrough.
Oh, in Middlesbrough first. Yeah, thanks for the correction.
It was something.
Okay, but how did that make you feel? The first time being integrated into a school, obviously you being Zimbabwean and being dropped into a white dominated, environment. How was that like?
It was different. Like, I was the only black person there.
Yeah, the only black child. Oh.
It was an experience.
However, you were quick to make friends, I remember. So that's it. Oh, was that not the case?
No.
So did you kind of like struggle?
Yeah.
How about the accent of the people? How was that like? Did you easily understand it?
Yeah, but I just didn't know some of the meaning, like some of the words. I didn't fully understand at the time. Like the vocabulary and stuff. But
okay.
The accent wasn't too bad.
And were they welcoming? Other young people?
Not really.
So how did you help? How did you get along?
I just got along with whoever I got along with.
Okay, cool. Okay, fast forward into moving from Middlesbrough. We come, to a different environment. Can you tell me a little bit about that transition, that movement from Middlesbrough to Wingate? Was it?
It was similar. I was still like the only black person there, but I guess it was secondary school. Everyone was a bit older, so yeah, it was just a bit of maturity from everyone, I guess.
Okay, but that's where things kind of like changed for you, because I remember you starting your first job in Wingate. Just give us an explanation what that was all about, because other young people at your age weren't necessarily getting into the job environment, or that would be the last thing on their mind. What was happening with you there?
I guess I just wanted a bit extra pocket money.
Well, yeah, I totally understand, because obviously, you having other siblings and us as your parents being a bit committed to other things, it was quite difficult to provide the needs. But to me, that shows a level of resourcefulness. See, if I can't get it here, then how can I get it? You see, that kind of like defines your character. So I remember even, while you had started that job, what type of job was it?
Paper routes.
those pepperons. So that meant you worked in every type of weather. How did that make you feel, and how did you manage that?
I didn't really look deep into it at that time. I was just doing the job.
Yeah, but I mean, as somebody who works, there are days where I see the weather out there and think, you know what, I don't want to be doing this. So when it's snowing, when it's raining, obviously those are the difficult times. But what kept you going? How long did you actually do it for? But what kept you going?
I quite liked walking at that time. I guess it was nice.
Okay, so it was more the exercise.
Mm.
Yeah, but what was the driving factor? Obviously beyond exercise. What was going on internally?
Just to get some
experience, and obviously more pocket money. So did you manage to get the stuff that you wanted to get with that pocket money?
Yeah, managed to get a few things.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. While you're still at school, I just want to find out what particular subjects were you interested in?
I was doing geography, art, religious studies, and Spanish.
Okay, so what was your best subject, or what was the one that you actually zoomed in on and focused on?
Art and Spanish.
Art and Spanish. Can you say something in Spanish?
See?
A bit more. How do you say? Obviously you remember I used to ask you these questions, but how do you say che in Spanish?
No, sir.
That means I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I know art and Spanish. So why the art as your favorite subject?
It was enjoyable. Got to learn a lot of things. Like looking into the detail of art and a lot of other things that have art in it.
Okay. So how far did you go with the art side of things?
I went pretty far. I did it in sixth form as well.
You did it in sixth form, or is that when you transitioned again to another school?
Mm-hmm.
And how was that like?
It was harder. A lot more work. It was good. There was 2 other black people there, so.
Well, it was much easier in terms of. So, do you relate more to black people or white people, or both?
Black people, yeah.
Okay. No, it's good to know. It's good to know. So, I'm mainly interested in. Obviously, you've mentioned a few things there that have been quite interesting, but you have pursued the art side of things, but in a different capacity. So would you say your art, and I really should have asked you to bring some of the art pieces. Obviously you've drawn quite a few and you've done quite a lot in that subject. And I remember you also wanted to pursue it, for another year, sixth form, into fine arts. Was it fine arts?
I think so.
Do you remember? Yeah. Okay, but there's something more that goes on with the art side of things, because in it then you discover, did you kind of like discover the real Alicia while doing the art side of things? What did you discover about yourself?
With art, I like the practical side more. instead of like the research and the annotation. I like photographing.
Okay.
Just there.
Okay. But there's something more than just liking there, isn't there? Because can you tell us about that? About what you discovered about yourself?
There were just some things I guess I was naturally just good at.
Okay. So yes, continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then there were also some skills that you'd learn in the process.
Okay, so you're actually perfecting what is already natural. So would you say art comes naturally to you?
I didn't know that because some things that I wouldn't struggle with, other people would. So I guess why.
Okay. So would you say that is your gift? You are an artist naturally.
Yes.
Yeah, I say that because, whether it's cleaning, whether it's cooking, whatever you touch, Alicia, you can actually tell that, it's Alicia who has done this. Because it's done in perfection. And you've got this artistic way of doing things. And whatever you handle, you can actually see that it's got a bit of Midas touch. Okay. So fast forwarding to that, so you discover then that art is your gift. And then what happened? You're in sixth form. So what were your options there?
Going to university afterwards.
Is that what you did?
No, I went into an apprenticeship.
Okay, so what were you doing, or what are you doing?
Hairdressing.
Hairdressing. Is that something that you're still doing now?
Yes.
Okay. So why hairdressing in particular? You could have pursued many other avenues.
It's just something I've always wanted to do.
Okay. So when we talk about that hairdressing, I realize that in before you even started the apprenticeship, you started doing something. You started working on people's hair. Is that something that was taught to you, or that's something that is self-taught?
Self-taught.
What was the drive, for you to teach yourself something like that?
There was no one to do my hair. As in, there were not many hairdressers who could work with my hair type.
Okay. So you actually plait your hair? Oh wow, that's nice. That's interesting. I wish we could actually see some photos. So what you have on, is that something that you've done yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, no, that's good. That's good. So besides the hairdressing aspect, you also have done a bit of facials, haven't you?
Makeup.
Is that what it's called? Makeup. Yeah. Thank you for the correction. So I remember seeing somebody who you had actually worked on. Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
Okay, somebody who you had worked on, and I couldn't believe that, somebody without previous background of makeup would actually do such good work. So how, is that something that you taught yourself, or?
Yes.
Okay. Also, would you say you are more comfortable in developing your own skill, or you are more comfortable in somebody pushing you along in that direction?
A bit of both, because I watch YouTube videos or watch videos on social media and all the other platforms. So I'll say it's both.
Okay. No, so that self-drive is what I want to focus on. What keeps you going? You know, what is the thing that you really desire to achieve at the end? What's going on through your mind while you're doing all these things? While you're watching the YouTube videos? While you're plaiting your own hair?
Just for hairdressers, beauticians, just to be able to work with all hair types or work with all skin tones, not just focusing on one.
Okay. So I just want to take you back a little bit. Obviously, you started off doing the newspaper rounds, and then you moved on to another job. What was that?
McDonald's.
Or you worked in, what were you doing there?
A bit of everything. You get moved around in the shop.
Did you enjoy that?
No, but it was good for experience.
Okay. So what made you leave McDonald's?
I just wasn't happy there anymore.
You're not happy. So is it because you wanted something more for your life, or you know, besides spinning the burgers? Not that there's anything wrong with McDonald's, but you used to do salads as well.
Yes.
Oh no, that's interesting. I'm sure it was it the fact that it became a bit monotonous, a bit boring?
Yes. Yeah, it became boring. And
okay. So what other jobs have you done?
after that, I went to my apprenticeship.
Okay. And if I may remind you, you had a little stint with Amazon, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
And how was that like?
Hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what did you take away from that experience? What would you say you learned?
Just how organized it was. In terms of how people would enter into the building and leave, or who were assigned to a specific station and all of that.
Okay. Yeah, but good to hear. And does that kind of experience help you along or in developing, you know, through what you are doing now, the organizational skills that you learned from Amazon? Okay.
Yes.
And what did you take away from McDonald's?
Just customer service.
Okay. Oh, how was the customer service like there?
It was mixed, just like any other job. You get some good customers, you get some bad ones.
Okay, but how would you? How are you taught to handle such things?
If it's a bad customer, you're told to get the manager so they can deal with the situation. If you can't deal with it.
Okay. Fast forward now, you've got no one to get as the manager. What do you do?
Yeah, you just have to deal with it.
Okay. All right. No, that's absolutely understandable. So we're done with the jobs bit. Now you start doing your own plating. How was it working on your first customer?
It was. I'm trying to think who my first customer was actually. I can't remember, but I would say it was okay with the experience that I had. Yeah.
So at that point, you had the experience of plating yourself. Then you get to plate somebody else.
Yes, but it's more with like being professional and making conversation with the client, the service that you provide.
Okay. No, that's interesting. So how many customers would you say you've had to date?
Maybe less than 500.
Wow, less than 500. And Alicia, I forgot one thing. How old are you? Because that's quite interesting.
20.
You're 20 and you've had less than 500 customers. And by the way, I forgot to ask, you've got a company. What is your company called?
Sweetonebeauty.
What does that mean?
It just, sweet one means just like, it's a compliment, like beautiful, pretty. It's just like a slang word.
Wow.
That's right.
Wow. So, okay, I can't believe this because at 20 I wasn't doing what you are doing. See, that's what intrigues me about you, because your mindset, your work ethic, you come in, you go out, even, when you're doing the paper rounds. I definitely at that age. How old were you? I wouldn't have done that. How old were you then?
18.
13. And at 13, that's the last thing that was on my mind. Or that would have been football or playing out with friends, but not doing paper rounds and, earning an extra amount of pocket money. Your mindset and your work ethic are to be definitely, recommended and commended. Well done, you.
Thank you.
I think you really need to give yourself, if you've done well over under 500, you need to give yourself a hand of applause. Well done, well done. So tell me, what is the next step? Where are we going from here?
Opening up my own shop.
Wow. And how far off is that? When is the first shop going to be open? How far do you see it in the future?
Less than a year, I would say.
Oh no, that's good. It's good. Well done, Alicia. Well done. So I also remember you had a bit of a clash with one of your employers. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What was that about? No, just feel free. Just say what you want to say and hold back what you do not want to say.
Long story short, they wanted me to either work for them and work for no one else, or they wouldn't offer me a position there.
Okay. So why do you think that was?
I guess maybe competition.
Okay. So they found you as competition at your age.
I think so, or maybe racism. I'm not sure.
Well, I think it has to do with the scripture that says the gifts of the Lord are of no repentance, and also the one that says that your gift will make room for you. So I think it more has to do with where you're going and what you're capable of doing. So you've got a social media account, haven't you?
Yes.
With Sweetonebeauty, correct me there. I should know that right now. Anyway, so how many followers? Is that Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook and Instagram, yeah.
And how many followers would you say you have?
It's just over 1,000 at the moment.
Wow, over 1,000.
Yes.
So have you actually thought of having a YouTube channel?
In the future, yes.
Wow. So tell me about your planning process, because me, I like rushing, and obviously I've lectured and done all sorts, but you have a way of doing things. How do you plan and how do you execute?
Because with YouTube, you kind of like have to have a large social media platform first before you go into that. You could go into that before that, but it's harder to be successful in it.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing with me there. But you've already got 1,000 followers, basically. People who who see your success. So for me, I would have said go for it. But it's the planning. Like right now, you are thinking about the followers, or a larger platform, creating that larger platform. You have done the same thing with all your ideas. You don't just execute. So what I want to understand from you is, how do you start from an idea to developing the idea and then executing on it? What is the thought process that Alicia goes through?
It's just planning it out so you have enough time to set your goals and everything else, and also building the capital that you need for it and stuff.
Okay.
Again, the equipment and other stuff that you might need.
Okay. So is that what you've been doing from for now? Is that what you are currently doing, building up on the planning and the equipment?
Yeah.
Wow. And roughly how much would you say you've actually spent on your equipment? Just
Maybe,
give us yeah, go on.
Maybe just under 1,000.
Under 1,000. Wow. And obviously counting, because where we are going is yeah, you are a force to be reckoned with. Well, you've done very well. Amongst other 20-year-olds, I think you've got your head screwed on right, and you've got your plan in place. But what advice would you give to somebody? What has driven you to this point, from the point that you started working at 13 to the point that you're 20? That's like 7 years, isn't it? What has been the driving force?
I would say just doing what you love, I guess.
Okay, doing what you love. What else?
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
No, because I think you're very consistent. The way you do your things, it's consistency, it's persistence. Regardless of whatever situation you are in, you are always forging forward. So you're consistent in your approach, which is one thing that I've learned from you. That and one other thing, you keep your cards close to your chest. It's not everything that you share with everyone. So anyway, that brings me to another point. I know we are a family that bases their we are a Christian-based family, and we concentrate on faith more. So how does faith play a role in your life?
Yeah, obviously I wouldn't have this gift if it wasn't for God, so kind of like owe it to Him to always put Him first in everything you do.
And you believe that? It's good to know. It's good to know. Anyway, for our viewers, what would you say as an advice to other young people, what would be the words of wisdom that you'd want to pass on to them?
Just to have faith.
Okay. What else?
Have faith, pray, and trust in your gifts.
Okay. How about those that don't know whether they have gifts or
To pray.
not? Pray. How about if they're not faith, believing people? If they don't believe in God?
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
Just to try a few things and to see which one they enjoy the best.
Okay. Thank you very much. And what would you say to the older guys, in order for us to understand younger people, what advice would you give, or in order for us to help young people along, with the adventures that they go, into, whether they've chosen to do particular subjects or train in certain fields? What advice would you give them?
Parents, is it? Just to try and understand the generation and the culture, so you can give them better advice, I'd say.
Better advice. Okay, what advice would you give me as your dad?
Just to maybe try and understand like the different cultures, because growing up in Zimbabwe and growing up here is so different. So maybe just trying to understand the cultures and the cultures that are here.
Okay, and in business, what advice would you give me? Since this is a new channel or a new venture that I'm going into, what advice would you give me?
Just to stay consistent.
Oh, thank you very much. And thank you very much for, accepting this opportunity of being interrogated by me. But we wish you all the best in the future, and hopefully when the channel has grown, we'll be inviting you back to share about your successes. Thank you very much, Alicia.
Thank you.